Hello everybody, Jet here, and welcome back to my Dark Elves campaign, where we are currently being invaded by Chaos on a fairly grand scale, so I've got to manage to fend them off, which is going to be quite tricky. Now, I did say I was about to start pushing out another army. I'm going to be doing that up here to start with, and we'll start building one down here as well. Right, to start with, let's get ourselves a nice lord recruited. Okay, so 2 executioners. We're going to be putting shades into these guys. These guys do have quite, as you can see, they're quite expensive, however, but they are very good missile damage. Now let's which ones do I want? Because these guys are also good in melee, which is very good. This is going to be our top tier army here. Right, when am I going to have that building ready? So next turn I'll also be able to start building executioners, which will be very, very useful. I'm saving up to get that.
Awaiting command.
And you can already see how expensive this is straight away without even trying. Right, we're going to leave that on that amount for the time being. We're going to start pushing out another army here as well. So sword and crossbow. I've not really got many of these, so I don't know how necessarily how they would work comparatively. Obviously, they're going to be a lot more about. They're going to be a lot more ranged as well.
Lord of the Druki.
Right, you. Just should have built him up there. I'm going to swap him around. Bit of waste of money, but I'm actually going to build one here, simply because it's closer to the action. He's more likely to get used. Oh, and I can't recruit a lord at the moment, so I've recruited too many. Never mind.
Tyrant of Naggaroth. A vile plan.
You can start doing some recruiting.
Noble of Naggaroth.
Now, what do I do? Do I double time to Hotep to the monarchs? I can't get there in time. I'm going to move you down here to hit here. I've lost the columns. There's not much I can do about that, so there's no point in me worrying about that. You can double time it back up here, and we'll start recruiting with you next turn.
Cease your provocations.
Okay, and that is the turn. Let's see what the Chaos do now. So we're obviously on dwarfs again. I'm not really bothered about this. I just want to see what Chaos do. I need to fend off this Chaos invasion. Once I've fended off this Chaos invasion, we'll be in a position to start going on the offensive again. Now I'm hoping that this is... See, this is different, because obviously in the old game the Chaos invasion just came as the Chaos spawned and they started coming in and you fended it off once you'd beaten all of the various lords. Whereas this obviously feels a little bit different. This is just a random chaos stacks appeared on my coast, which isn't quite the same, and they were quite powerful straight away. So that could be how the Mortal Empires work. You know, this could be how this one works. So we shall see. I'd almost prefer to play without the Chaos Invasions. I know there are a few mods for that. The Chaos Invasions do add a little bit of extra to it, but it's suddenly if they just randomly appear like that rather than charging down from the north, I'm not so keen on the way it's been implemented in this. But we'll see, because you know it's still good fun. It still makes it very interesting to deal with. So here we are. We're going to be on our Servants of Chaos, who are my particular Chaos faction. They are pulling around again. They are avoiding there. Why are they avoiding the monoliths? Okay, that is interesting. That is weird, actually. It's interesting, but it's also weird, because that doesn't really make much sense to me. However, I'm not complaining. We are going to finish off this little force now.
Cruel and savage! Onwards! Onwards!
This is a nice, easy auto.
They belong to me.
We're going to take the replenishment. And we are going to start zerging back up. I know the High Elves might come in behind me, but I really can't afford to be leaving them behind. Right.
I must not fail. Noble
You can
Nagara.
swap.
Join up.
Soon we'll be able to get executioners here. So we've got a nice line there. I want to get a couple more shades with great swords. I've got one of these guys coming, and now I want some cavalry, so some Cold One Dread Knights. A couple of units of Cold One Dread Knights should be enough. And I will be putting a mage into here as well. Let's take fire for this one. That's good.
Who seeks my malice? All shall be mine.
So let's see, we've got to get the burning head with these guys. So I've got a mix of different mages. I know some are the meta, there is a lot of meta, and some are definitely much better than others. But I'm not necessarily playing to play for the meta, I'm playing for fun. This is annoying. He can't hit there next turn, so let's start double... but I can't necessarily get across. Let's start double timing you back this way. You can keep building up.
The people grow restless.
I'm going to lose somewhere next turn, that's for sure.
Dark servant.
And you can start doing a bit of recruitment now as well.
Enacting my dark desires.
I'm going to move some more simple units here. And that is the turn. So, we've got 3 Chaos armies pressuring us now. At least one of them is weakened. Well, a couple of them seem weakened. This one, which is sailing around, is probably the strongest. But, however, that is the least threat at the moment. I am going to be being hit hard soon, so that's going to be bad. And once we've dealt with this, I'll probably take a lot of this army and pop it into Malekith's army. So Malekith has my absolutely best army. Best army setup I can do here, but for the moment we're going to keep it nice and tidy, well, tidy-ish. What am I on about? We're going to try and keep it... I've completely lost track of what I was saying there, guys, sorry about that. We're going to try and get everybody together and tidy up after this Chaos invasion. And then we'll get our armies sorted out, get our armies in order again, get our economy back on track after rebuilding those places. At which point, we will proceed with the invasion of Ulthuan. I want that to go ahead because the High Elves there are my biggest threat. They are at war with me and they are never going to go to peace with me. And even if I don't secure the entirety of Ulthuan in my first sort of invasion, if I just take the top corner and the Eagle Gates, I will pen them in massively. Not a cat. And see, this is a pain because they are making me chase them around the place, which is causing me probably causing me bigger issues than I necessarily need to be dealing with here. Because if I let him go, he can potentially go in and ravage my northern territories, which are my really important territories. You can keep chasing.
Denied. You obey me, thralls. Hateful bidding. For the witch
You can keep recruiting.
Malekith, King of Nararoth. Spreading
Malekith is going to move there for the moment. You are going to move back. You are going to pull up and recruit.
A vile plan.
I admire your darkness.
You are going to double time it out of there.
Awaits. Merciless one.
These guys are doing fine.
Relics come
It's going to take quite a while for that army to be ready, unfortunately. So let's start pushing economy in other places.
Sacrifice.
Yep, Black Road is probably my best one there. Right now, it really is all economy I want to push, because that really will help keep me afloat. It's a bit annoying that here isn't part of this territory, actually. Because that's quite a squidged little territory there. No, she's fine. She's got a good army, even if it's a smaller army. It's an expensive army. I want to hold her there for the time being. See, these gates, if I can hold all of these gates, I can potentially, and there's 3 of them, I can pin the High Elves in there, especially, and then start taking, and then I can start taking the outside of their lands. But these 3 gates are really important. If I can get them, they are so easy for me to defend. Anyway, that is another end turn. Let's see what happens where he forces me to run. I'm going to lose at least 1 or 2 more cities, guys, and there's nothing I can really do to stop that, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. Okay, so Vampire Counts, von Karstein. Back onto Chaos soon. Oh, that's just the straight normal Warriors of Chaos. So obviously they're still here, as well as these little Chaos incursions. Thankfully, we've not seen too much of the old world yet. Let's see what Lofen is doing. Lofen is hopefully dealing with its own Chaos invasion at the moment, because they're possibly more powerful than me. I don't know at the moment. It would have told me what it thinks they are. However, they've got the entirety of Ulthuan, which means they've got the ability to pump out quite a few regions. Because while it's smaller, there are a lot of actual territories there, which is good for them because they have nice small territories, which makes them easier to defend. However, the one downside about being them is they are slap bang in the middle of the map there, and actually being at sea in this game makes you easier to attack, if anything. So they will have people going in. I thought that was going to happen. So you're pulling down that way. I'm going to chase down somebody next turn. I'm not in the best position here still. However, we're getting better. I'm surprised they didn't just go for that. How am I doing with those guys? Our friendship is increasing quickly, so that's good.
My cruelty knows no limits.
You are building up.
Hateful bidding. With noble purpose. Dreadlord.
No.
We're ready for them.
Now this is Shay. These are Blackheart Corsairs with handbows, so they're not actually great. Now I know what I'm going to do with this.
Double time! Sail, damn you!
You can move around here to support.
We are amongst them now.
You can keep building up.
A novel prospect.
I am the Witch King.
The very air is tainted.
Right, where were you? You are going to be disbanded. And we're going to do the same thing over here to recapture this settlement.
A vile corruption is
So we're just recruiting a lord whose job is to go and resettle Twisted Glade.
Carnage awaits.
Okay, so I'm relatively happy now. We're getting ourselves into a better position. You know, we've still taken losses to those that chaos invasion, but it could have been far worse. Considering we were rejigging ourselves, if they dropped that chaos invasion somewhere else on our coastline, you know, we'd have taken huge damage. Whereas as it is, where they dropped it, we could actually fend it off because we had our armies ready and in place, which actually gave us a nice bit of breathing room there, just to, well, not necessarily breathing room, but it meant we were in a position to be able to catch them relatively quickly, which is always useful. Now let's see what happens. Obviously we've got Telia. So we're nearly back round to chaos again here. The end turns do take a long time on this, which is hardly surprising considering how big the map is. And at some point that map is going to grow as well, and at that point it's just going to become immense. So the Servants of Chaos. They are pulling back towards monoliths. Part of the trickiness is actually potentially going to be actually catching these guys, because they're just running away whenever I get close, which isn't necessarily good for me. Oh no, 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 no. He cannot be allowed to do that. He is going to... Ooh. He is going to try and settle here.
Master of cruelty.
Fight
Right.
for me.
Nice easy victory there.
Nobility.
And we are going to go resettle simply so we don't lose that to him.
Favored of the Witch King.
It's really annoying because I lost a big chunk of that army.
Victory is mine.
Blackheart. Plotting a
And you can
course.
still keep pushing around.
The ocean awaits.
So that... yeah, I definitely wasn't going to let them capture there. That would have led us to another war. So that was something I definitely didn't want to happen. I'm actually getting low on points to spend here. We've got the Gaze of Malice. I want to push up to Arcane Conduit at least. And then I do want to push down the Red Tree. I certainly wanted up the Slaughter Lord tree. These ones I'm not so fussed by. And certainly Stand or Die I'm not so fussed by. But I want to get these ones to up my melee attack on some of my other guys. However, how many points do we have left? We'll see what I can get. Okay, you can start marching down. Let's take the taxes. Once again, let's take the taxes, because I don't need to worry about the chaos corruption anymore, which is nice. Okay, let's have a look with you. Let's start pushing down Slaughterlord as well.
Corruption of the vilest sort.
So we can make executioners, dread knights here. We can make a dragon here. I might push down that one. And we can get shades here. So actually we can make quite a nice army in that territory. Which is interesting. We'll see how that goes. So greenskins, crooked moons. We're getting round to it again, guys. There is been a lot of end turns in this one. I do apologise that. I know it's more fun having grand battles and things, but sometimes you've got to just take your time to get through things. Plus I've had a few too many grand battles today in my Beastmen campaign. If you've not watched that one yet, there is in my latest Beastman campaign, there are 4 war herds versus 4 dwarf armies, and it just becomes a massive mess. I will take an non-aggression pact with you. I can become friendly with you, actually. I will trade with you. Especially as I could potentially get you as an ally against Mazamundi. So, no, right now the High Elves are my enemy, and they are my main enemy at the moment. Okay, back to our Chaos guys. Damn, that was going to happen no matter what I did. I'm surprised they didn't do that on their first push through. Which is annoying, but I can deal with it. I was expecting it. It gives me time to catch up. What are they doing?
Dreadlord of Nagaroth.
I don't know if I can actually support.
Never. Sail, damn you!
But what I can do is recruit a lord on here and use him
Noble of Nagaroth.
Cruel and deadly.
to drop
Plotting
people
a
ashore.
course.
I am the Witch King. Time
Can we get to him? Yes!
to battle.
Ah, he escaped though, but he's not powerful enough to really do much now.
None shall live. Fear my malice.
You can hold there just for now while we start rebuilding. How is this army going? Nicely. I'd say a lot of this is probably going to be chucked into Malekith's army. I want to try and use these shades because let's just have a little compare on this, on the recruitment. Though this is, oh god, this is a very expensive army. So actually, now what this is safe, I'm going to boot this army, which will up us our income again. You can just hold in here for a turn or two. In fact, no, you can also start double timing this way.
What awaits me? Another time.
That's another end turn, guys. So we've nearly fended off the Chaos invasion. Once we've fended this off successfully, we will then recoup, get our armies in order, and we will prepare for the invasion of Ulthuan. My plan is to hit the islands up here at the top. So these are the more corrupted things where my guys should be nicely at home. And then we'll start burning down the side and blocking off and taking or blocking off the gates. Ideally I want to take each of those gates and hold at least a small army there while it builds up, because if I hold them, the elves are stuck. They are penned in Ulthuan. I could be really cruel, just take the entirety of the outside and Lothern, and just pin the elves inside, high elves inside. But no, I will clear it completely. But no, that's my plan. So I'm going to take this side first, and probably push right down to Lothern, hold Lothern, and then I will clear the other way and take the centre. Now, my only worry is Bretonnia obviously might have a problem with this, but we'll see what happens when that happens. Obviously, once we've done all of that, we need to work out exactly where we're invading next, and Bretonnia could be a very ripe target. However, if they're friendly with me, I might just push north and clear the north. Okay, we are being forced to fight this one now, guys. Now, my aim here is to win, and if I can't win, to make them pay enough that this army is broken. This is a tiny little citadel here. Actually, I quite like having a little citadel like this, because this actually potentially makes it easier to hold. Because I've got less wall to worry about here in this place. So actually this is going to be a lot easier to hold than some of the bigger fortresses where we've got far more going on. Gives us a nice small bit of wall to hold. And we've got a nice big good shaped garrison here as well, which will help us. Odd we've got this little random bit here to the side, but never mind. This is quite a skinny map as well, actually. So, but the Chaos are coming and they are strong. They're going to definitely try and knock over my gates, and these chariots will be quite painful. However, if I can pin them with my executioners, sorry, not my executioners, my Black Guard of Nagarond, that will hold them there. And this guy is going to hurt. The walls, I'm not so fussed about the walls. If all these guys go at the walls, I'm actually less worried. For they do have a lot of armour, but I've got my plans for this. These guys are melee as well, so...
Corsair handbows.
Right. So we're going to leave some Blackguard here. These guys can both sit around here. My Harpies are going to sit over here, and I'm ideally going to try and get them round behind.
Eager for battle.
So these guys can actually... These guys can go on first in the centre, and then the Corsair handbows can be put on afterwards.
Eager for battle. Dealers in death.
We are going to put some of these guys behind, ready to help. Well, basically we'll swap them round. In fact, no. We'll put our Blackguard up here as well. They can move in straight afterwards. So as these guys get close, we'll swap these around. And these guys can sit back as a roving force to go in wherever they're needed. Okay, let's go. Now what I'd love to do is break one of these towers before it gets to me, but that's not likely. I'd also like to break that. And here comes the Hell Cannon fire. Oh! Which could potentially break my wall, so I do need to be careful of that. Hello! Drop everything on that gun. Oh, so I think I bounced those Chaos Dwarfs there. My Harpies can all start rushing up. They're still in action, but they've taken a lot of damage. Right now, pause. Now we're just doing a little bit of a swap here. These guys are pulling back off the wall. And my blackguard are pulling forwards onto the wall. As they do that.
At once.
And some of these guys can come up here as well.
It is done.
That is perfect.
Blackguards. Without question.
Let's hit them again. Oh, I'm not going to break that, unfortunately, so I'm going to save my rest at the other points.
Without question. Cold-blooded killers.
Okay, you guys can all get involved here. We're nicely involved here. You guys can push up. Now, these guys, because they're behind the walls, they are shooting up into them. These guys can come and help. Get these guys off the wall here. You guys can come up. And again, we're pulling all our archers off and behind the walls so they can shoot up. Let's hammer them. Quite a tight one, don't we? That'll do. Probably going to damage my own wall there, but
The world will burn.
We are ready.
right, let's get you guys in and let's get some more archers facing towards this gate. You guys can charge him now. We are breaking them on our walls now. That's good. Here is probably our worst spot. Let's give these guys some archer support now.
Advancing. Blackguards. Battle ready. Die, weaklings.
Let's focus fire on the gate now to hold that gate. They are getting up over here as well. Right, let's just keep this pressure on.
Eager for battle. Battle ready.
I think we've got this, guys. However, I'm not...
Carnage awaits. Battle calls.
All of my archers can actually be taken off skirmish mode. And now we start really pushing. Because now I have a lot of extra damage to throw at these guys.
Kill. Dealers in death. Eager for battle. Forward.
Let's get these guys out. We've dealt with that. These guys can go and support on the walls. We're breaking them through the gate. Our blackguard here are holding nicely. So we've got them. We've got this, guys. So I didn't even need to bring the extra army I brought in here to support, really. You know, we are pushing them back nicely here. It's this little clump which is the worry. I'm going to get some of these guys over as well, because these guys have armor piercing damage, so they will support. You can start pushing over to these guys.
We are ready. Moving out. Kill everything.
You guys can switch to... and again, these guys will be shooting at the guys on the walls, hopefully. Are they even shooting? No.
Make them bleed.
Now they're shooting. And victory is ours. So we've smashed them. Let's make sure these guys on the wall take a lot of damage before we let them go. But no, that's good. So I'm happy with that, guys. That is going to be the end of this. Once we get back to my turn, that is going to be the end of this session. So we've now... okay, they've got one more army loose in my territory, but that's not an issue now. It's been devastated. So it's now about just getting ourselves back in order, rebuilding and getting our armies back in order. As you've seen, I've just about got a completely top tier army set up to start marching down here as well. Now a lot of our army is going to be popped into the army with Malekith, and then we'll try and build another similar one and have a few mid-tier armies as well when we have at least, ideally want 3 or 4 armies to when I invade Ulthuan, because it's going to be a hard fight. In the initial invasion, certainly. Once, it's going to be getting ourselves in there and getting ourselves a foothold. Which is why I'm aiming for the certain bits I'm aiming for. If I can get those gates quickly, if I get a foothold and get those gates, and I can funnel them at those gates, I will be able to break every army I can. But at the same time, if they're holding those gates, I've never had to attack one, and I dread to think I'm about to be attacking them in my Lizarmen campaign, actually. But there, I've probably got enough people that I can massively overwhelm them without worrying too much. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so that's 222 for 554. Considering this is just a garrison here, I'm very happy with that. Some of my guys, these Blackguard, are very good, and they're not even the top tier. I'm going to have executioners soon as well, so we'll have to play with them and see how they work. They're great sword infantry, the executioners, so hopefully they'll do very well. The issue is high elves. I'm not so sure how these guys will work against. However, we are changing our armies around a little bit now. And we've got lots of lovely chaos slaves now as well. And he just killed himself, which is good. I'm happy with that. He just moved himself into a silly position, so he's killed himself. I'm going to get my territory back and we will be sorted. And in fact, the orcs came and saved the day. Well, they didn't really save the day, but you know what I mean. Anyway, guys, actually, I'm going to just double tap this one.
A novel prospect. Retreat! My power grows!
And we have destroyed the servants of chaos, guys. So let's recap here. So we are now back. We have won that small war, and we will be ending this session here. Thank you very much for watching, guys.